Welcome to the journey of self. I welcome you into my world of coaching. And I have created this video with an intention to walk you through when you hire me as your life coach and embark with me on a journey of self. Meet Simar and Alex. Now, these two characters I have bring forth to you from my real world coaching. But in our present session today, I would just walk you through the story of Simar and not Alex. My very intention of sharing this picture is to let you know that my program, The Journey of Self, is actually not gender specific. It is for anyone who has been reeling under a sudden change of events or is experiencing a setback. And it can be anyone. Let me walk you through Simar's story through which you will understand how my coaching program, The Journey of Self, can help anyone just like Simar or even just like Alex. So here's Simar for you. She, when she actually came to me for coaching, she was in a real bad shape. What you see and what I would share today with you is just a summary of the long, intensive work we did together. So Simar's story goes like this, where she was in a very difficult situation of her life, wherein she was undergoing some real trials within a very short span of time. So as you're reading it on the screen, you will find that she was suffering a personal loss. She lost her best friend to pandemic. Along with that, she also lost her job. And there was the same time where her father was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder. Now, this made Simmer's entire world collapsed. From a confident, professional, high performer, she became a recluse, someone very fearful, carrying a lot of baggage and suffering a great deal of stress, so to say. So this is how she felt, just a very short summary of what she shared with me. And I think you could relate to it when we usually undergo a sudden change of event in our life, or as if something has hit us while we were in a completely different approach to life and we're working on completely unprepared to what was coming our way. So, in a nutshell, this is what Simar speaks about her journey and her feelings, where she felt like she was walking on the edge, feeling lost, uncertain. Most important thing of all that she spoke, what really moved me was when she said she was actually on a verge of simply giving up, and which could mean anything. And if I were to even share this with you, she'd been through this difficult phase of her life for straight 4 years. It was a very difficult, complex, and a difficult time for her. And if you really wonder what made her stay this way, friends, it was more of not just that she was unprepared, none of us are prepared actually for anything coming our way, but her lack of awareness that there is help available. Can you believe that a person who's been suffering for 4 long years and the cascading effect it had on her other domains of life, including her relationships, including her professional life, and her very own self, was way beyond comprehension. This is not because she didn't knew what to do next. This was simply because she didn't knew what to do next. She didn't knew that there was a method through which she could really find help and also a way out of the many things that were going on in her life at the same time. Now, Simar's case was she was not referred to me by anyone. In fact, I think just like me, there was a time in my life, and this is my story of being caught up unprepared with the sudden change of things, which you will find on my website. The link to that, I'll share it in the description, and how I found my clarity. She found me in a very similar way the maybe perhaps most of us do. She must be looking for help on the internet. So she came across my website, and this is a three-step tool that I usually share. The link to download these three steps, again, you will find this in the description box, and it is for free, so you can download it and make the best use of it. The very idea I created this for anyone, just like me, Simar, or anyone who's experiencing a, a sudden loss, as if a personal crisis has hit us, and an immediate help may not be that you may want to go to a life coach or seek help. It would rather be to first get a sense of what's really happening. Because when we go through such drastic changes, unprepared, being caught off guard, that's the most difficult time to really reclaim our power back and put ourselves back in control. Based on my own experiences and expertise, I created this tool. And while Sima was searching for it on the website, she found this through which she got into my world of coaching, and that's how we got connected. Later on, when Simar found that to be very useful, she applied for my full-time coaching program, which goes by the title of Journey of Self. Now, this program, I would just present to you a brief summary of what really it entails. It actually is a lot, but I've divided it into 7 phases, where we start with the present challenge at hand, and it goes into various phases. Within each phase, there are multiple neuroscience-based coaching tools used, techniques taught, how one could put that into practice, concepts explained, so that one not just understand what you're really getting into, but also can use that forever in your life, so that next time you ever find yourself in a similar situation I was in or Simar was, you could use that and find yourself way, way, way better than you were when you were caught off guard into sudden crisis. So back to Simar's story, while I walked her through the entire 7 phases, one of the things that I would like to share here is the phase 2, where after uncovering what Sima was going through, which was a lot, it was a deep, intensive work we did together. And I asked Simar, usually I do this in the phase 2, where we explore the real challenges at hand, which the person is suffering from, and what would it that they would want to really work on, so that by the end of phase 7, she's into the place that she really want to get into. So, of the many challenges that myself and Sima worked on, one of the challenges we found was Sima's inner narrative, which has gone completely negative and toxic, eating away into not just her body, but her mind. And while she suffered from bouts of anxiety and many other things, she couldn't really put a finger on what really was wrong with her. So, exploring the challenges out of the almost close to 9, one of it was her was to really help her, assist her, change her inner narrative. And moving her from this challenge, we deep dived, which was a phase 3. In this, it was how using this inner narrative, which has gone toxic and negative, when we deep dived into the various other domains of Simar's life, her own self, her past, there were many insights that she found and gathered, basis on which then we decided what is the best action Simar needs to take, really practical methods, which will help her replace her inner narrative with a much positive one. Now, friends, one thing I would like to also kind of mention here is these things take time. So this journey of self program is not like a week program or a month. It's a 7-month intensive work that you would do with me, that Simmer did, and that most of my clients do. Because it's about you, it's about the journey of self, which is a combination of where you're working on your holistic well being, including your body and mind, and the challenges that you find yourself into, where you feel lost and uncertain, just like Simmer did, and the many, many areas where these challenges get cascaded down to. Like, as I mentioned, in case of Simar, her relationships were suffering to no end. Not just that, her professional life was completely in deep mess. And after 4 years of toil, trials, and struggles, she was in such a bad shape that she really wanted to give up. A courageous high performer turned into a timid, fearful human that Simmer was all about. So when we work at a deeper level or a transformative journey, it takes time, it takes commitment. And plus, when we move to the phase 5 of usually my coaching assignment, this is where it becomes the most inconvenient, because here's where you are putting things you resisted for so long. You were fighting your fears back. I'm just quoting this from the several people that I've helped, including Simar, where when you build the practice and really work through it, is when you start to get into the phase 6, which is you experience those solutions that you sought. So, to even a simple case of overcoming a negative self limiting belief or a toxic inner narrative, you need a very deep dive in intense work with your coach. And this requires time, commitment, and a lot of effort. So these phases is where it gets a little tricky. I share this here because I usually would do so also in our coaching contract and assignment, so that one gets a view that life coaching is not a, a short-term training or some kind of a shortcut to a quick find. It's about deep transformation, which needs time, a lot of hard work and commitment, and also the courage to face, go inward, and have a face to face with the darker side of you, with your inner child, the wounded one, the ugly one, the dark side, the complicated one, the negative one. And then you emerge out with solutions that last a lifetime. So that's when we get into the phase 7, where the underlying theme of this whole journey of self is to help find clarity and direction when we are caught up with personal crisis or any sudden change of events, leaving us completely kind of in a very difficult or tough situation, which is then cascaded down to almost all domains of our life, impacting us almost everywhere, right from your mind, your body, your relationships, your health, your children, family, partner, professional life. It includes everything. So when you get into this, you will be undergoing a very intensive work, but it's worth your time and commitment because you are changing your life forever. We learn more of how this whole thing works. I also have an option of, I call this CCC, the coach consultation call. Now, this is a free call where you can set your time with me. We will connect for an hour or so. And what you really get out of this call is you get to experience how life coaching can benefit you. Besides this, we also check fitment for each other, which is you get to learn whether or not I am the right coach you're looking for your particular issue. And for me, I get to learn whether or not I am the right person or the right coach for your issue at hand. As next steps, either you enroll into my full-time program, well, that's your decision. Otherwise, I shall also help you redirect you to the right resources you may need, if not my program, which is called Journey of Self. I repeat this again. This is where you get on, share your problems, and also get to experience. Because life coaching is something that's not really defined by words or just simply explained through some story. It is something very unique to your life, just as your life. So you got to experience it. You got to learn it from your coach directly. So I invite you to schedule your call with me. Let's connect and see how best can we be of help to each other. Well, that's all for today. Thank you. And I look forward to having a quick conversation with you. Thank you.